Chapter 1: The Dangerous Cost of Being Right. Imagine a winter night 12,000 years ago. Your small group of humans sits around a campfire. Beyond the firelight is darkness, predators, claws, and teeth. Lots and lots of teeth. Your tribe sleeps close together because the world outside the circle would very much like to kill you. Your tribe hunts together, travels together, protects each other. The tribe is not part of your life. The tribe is your life. Now, imagine standing up and announcing, "Guys, I don't think a drop of menstrual blood is actually going to kill us." Maybe you're right, maybe you're wrong. Either way, you've just discovered one of the oldest problems in human history. For most of human existence, being rejected by the group was often more dangerous than being incorrect. Today, being wrong might get you corrected. 12,000 years ago, it might get you separated from the people carrying the spears. This creates an uncomfortable realization. We like to imagine human beings evolved to seek truth, but evolution was never grading for accuracy. Survival was the only score that mattered. A prehistoric hunter who correctly predicted the weather but managed to annoy everyone else may have not lived long enough to enjoy being right. Being eaten by wolves because nobody likes you feels harsh, but evolution has never been known for its HR department. This tension never disappeared. Every human being carries two competing desires. One wants to understand reality. The other wants to remain accepted by the group. And when those desires disagree, belonging usually gets first vote. Not because humans are irrational, because humans are social. The campfire provided warmth. The campfire provided safety. The campfire provided food. Most importantly, the campfire provided acceptance. And losing that acceptance can be fatal. The entire story of this episode begins there. Because once you understand the campfire, you understand something strange about modern life. The technology changed. Human nature barely did. Chapter 2: Truth is young, tribes are ancient. Modern people like to think of themselves as rational creatures. We have science, universities, peer review, data, entire professions devoted to figuring out what is actually true. There is only one problem. All of those things are incredibly young. The tribal brain is ancient. For hundreds of thousands of years, your ancestors lived in small groups where reputation mattered constantly. The scientific method is only a few centuries old. Your social instincts are older than agriculture, older than cities, and older than writing. In evolutionary terms, science was invented about 5 minutes ago, which creates a problem. The modern world asks people to think like scientists. Human evolution trained them to think like tribe members. You can watch this conflict happen everywhere. People are often remarkably logical when evaluating beliefs that do not threaten their identity. The moment identity becomes involved, objectivity suddenly develops a limp. The human mind frequently behaves less like a scientist and more like a lawyer. Not the kind searching for justice, the kind defending a client who was literally caught on camera. Evidence appears, a cherished belief is threatened. Suddenly, the standards of proof become impossible. New objections appear. Goalposts migrate. Entire intellectual gymnastics routines are performed. If the Olympics ever added mental gymnastics, every country is bringing home gold. This is the first major realization. Humans did not evolve to discover truth. They evolved to survive among other humans. Truth helped, but belonging helped more. And the older instinct still gets first vote. Chapter 3: The loyalty test hidden inside every belief. Most people think beliefs are conclusions. Often they are invitations. A surprising number of beliefs function less like facts and more like membership cards. The card communicates something important. Not, "I have carefully evaluated the evidence." More often, "I know where I belong." This helps explain why changing beliefs can feel strangely emotional. If beliefs were purely intellectual, people would update them whenever better evidence appeared. Instead, some people can change spouses, careers, religions, and continents before changing political opinions. Because the belief is rarely the whole story. The tribe is. Humans do not simply inherit ideas. They inherit audiences. Long before children learn what to think, they learn who smiles when certain opinions are expressed, who gets approval, who gets criticized, who gets accepted, who gets excluded. The lesson arrives before logic, which means many arguments are not really arguments about evidence. Most ideological battles are identity battles wearing intellectual costumes. Some costumes are admittedly more convincing than others. This is why your conspiracy theory-loving uncle keeps explaining the lizard people to anyone willing to stand still. He isn't just telling them that they're sheeple. He's really asking whether they'd like to come over and play after school. It sounds ridiculous until you realize a surprising amount of adult political behavior operates on exactly the same software. The language changed, the instinct didn't. Beneath countless disagreements sits the same ancient question. If I said what I really think, will my people still want me around? And once that question enters the room, truth is no longer the only thing that's being evaluated. Chapter 4. The Heretics, Traitors and Outcasts. History has run this experiment thousands of times. Someone discovers something true. The tribe discovers something threatening. First came Socrates. He wandered through Athens asking uncomfortable questions. Questions have a nasty habit. They reveal weaknesses. People generally support free inquiry right up until the inquiry becomes inconvenient. Eventually, Athens sentenced Socrates to death. Not because he led an army, not because he attempted a coup, but because he made people think. Which sounds like the sort of thing philosophers should be rewarded for. History occasionally disagrees. Then came Galileo. His observations suggested Earth was not the center of the universe. The evidence was strong, the implications were stronger. Because if Galileo was right, important people might be wrong. And important people have rarely enjoyed that possibility. Galileo was correct. Congratulations. Your prize is a heresy accusation, 9 years of house arrest and isolation until your death. History occasionally grades assignments in a way that feels personal. More importantly, Galileo reveals something fundamental about human nature. People rarely reject facts because facts are weak. They reject facts because consequences are expensive. Truth threatens status. Status threatens belonging. And belonging is usually what people are actually defending. Reality has always had a public relations problem. It refuses to tell people what they want to hear. The campfire loves truth, right up until truth threatens the campfire. Chapter 5, the Salem Experiment. In 1692, fear swept through Salem. Accusations spread. Suspicion spread faster. Soon ordinary people were identifying witches with remarkable confidence. Today, the episode seems absurd. How could entire communities become convinced of something so implausible? But there is a better question. How dangerous was disbelief? Imagine looking around and seeing neighbors, ministers, judges, and local authorities all agreeing. At some point, the issue stops being evidence. The issue becomes social risk. Facts compete against belonging. Belonging usually has better marketing. Facts rarely throw parties. Tribes practically specialize in them. Once enough people publicly signal agreement, something strange happens. The appearance of consensus becomes more powerful than consensus itself. People stop asking, is this true? They start asking, is it safe to disagree? That dynamic appears throughout history. It also appears online approximately every 5 minutes. Once enough people believe something, disagreement starts to feel rude, even when reality disagrees too. The Emperor's New Clothes might be the most reusable story ever written. Every generation believes it's too sophisticated for the Emperor's New Clothes, then invents their own version. The lesson of Salem is not that people were foolish. The lesson is that human beings are astonishingly sensitive to social pressure, sometimes so sensitive that reality struggles to get a seat at the meeting. Chapter 6. The Internet recreates the village. Many people think tribalism is ancient history. Then social media arrived. The Internet did not invent tribalism. It industrialized it. Human beings evolved to monitor the opinions of roughly 150 people. Then we handed that operating system a smartphone and exposed it to billions. Predictably, things got weird. The Internet is often described as an information network. In practice, it frequently behaves like the largest status competition in human history. Humanity spent thousands of years building the greatest communication system ever created. Then immediately, it used it to recreate high school. The technology is extraordinary. The psychology is familiar. Likes, shares, followers, public approval, public outrage. None of this would seem strange to a hunter sitting beside a campfire. The scale would impress him, but the behavior would not. Social media allows people to receive approval from strangers located thousands of miles away, which sounds futuristic until you realize the emotional goal is still, please like me. The modern world runs on technology. Human psychology still runs on belonging. The Internet didn't replace the campfire, it rebuilt it. Then it gave everyone a microphone. Chapter 7, the Cult Factory. If you want to see belonging operating at maximum power, study cults. Consider Jonestown. People often ask, how could anyone join a cult? The question sounds reasonable. It also is slightly misleading. People rarely join cults because they're searching for manipulation. They join because they're searching for connection, meaning, purpose, community, a place where they matter. Nobody attends the first meeting thinking, hopefully this ends with a federal investigation and a documentary narrated by someone with a very serious voice. Human beings almost never walk into a cult. They walk into a tribe. And that's what makes cults so frightening. They exploit ordinary social instincts, not unusual ones. The most powerful cult technology ever invented wasn't mind control, it was friendship. Because once belonging became sacred, truth becomes negotiable. And once truth becomes negotiable, reality starts losing votes. The lesson of Jonestown is not that cult members were irrational. The lesson is that human beings are profoundly social creatures. Sometimes that strength becomes vulnerability. The campfire can keep you alive, and it can also convince you to walk off a cliff. Chapter 8. Truth After Tribalism. The same pattern appeared during China's Cultural Revolution. Public loyalty became a survival strategy. Accusations spread. Relationships shattered. People learned that acceptance depended on demonstrating the correct beliefs. The details changed, the psychology remained familiar, because the conflict has always been the same. Truth versus belonging. Reality versus identity. Evidence versus acceptance. Most people think they fear being wrong, but what they actually fear is being wrong alone. For most of human history, that fear made perfect sense. A tribe that accepted you could keep you alive. A tribe that rejected you could destroy you. The challenge of modern civilization is that truth matters more than ever. Science matters, evidence matters, reality matters. Yet the brain evaluating all of these things was designed for a very different world. The modern world asks people to think like scientists. Human evolution trained them to think like tribe members. The remarkable thing is not that tribalism still exists. The remarkable thing is that humans overcome it at all. Every major breakthrough required someone willing to risk exclusion, someone willing to disappoint the tribe, someone willing to choose reality over approval. 12,000 years ago, a human sat beside a campfire wondering what would happen if they said the wrong thing. Today, a human opens a social media app and wonders exactly the same thing. The technology changed, the fear did not. The internet connected 8 billion people. It may have simply just rebuilt the campfire. Hey, thanks for watching my video. Please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to see when I make more. I make these videos totally for free, and your support really helps the channel grow. You can also share this with someone you think will like it, check out the Amazon links to cool stuff in the description, and tip me if you feel so inclined. Venmo at History of Human Nature. I appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one.